Now we come to IGCSE 2023, October and November, Additional Mathematics, Paper 2, Set 1, question number 4. So this time is about the topic series, and particularly is about the binomial expansion or the binomial theorem. So of course, we need to make use of this theorem. All right, I've just written down here, and let's see about the question. All right, we need to expand this. All right, bracket 2 plus ax to the power 5, and then times bracket 1 plus bx, and then the first three terms will be 32 plus 112x minus 240x to the power 2, and we need to find the values of a and b, and that's it. So obviously we need to make use of the binomial theorem to expand the first bracket. Before that, we just recall that the first term is 2. All right, so we write the 2 or replace a by the 2. And then the second term will be ax, so we will replace b by ax. And then the power is 5, so n should be 5. So let's see what we will get. We also need to think about where should we end? Because there are three terms. The last term is x to the power 2, so maybe we can just stop it at x to the power 2. So let's have it. The first step should be like this. The first term is 5c0 times 2 to the power 5, and then times ax to the power 0, plus the second term, 5c1 times 2 to the power 4 decreased by 1, and then ax to the power 1 increased by 1, and then plus 5c2 times 2 to the power 3 decrease again, and then times ax to the power 2 increase again, and then this is it. All right, the rest you just write dot 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 to represent them, and then times the 1 plus bx. So now we just simplify this. For 5c0 is just 1. You can use your calculator, and then 2 to the power 5 is 32. And then ax to the power 0, remember, everything to the power 0 will give you 1. And then the next term, 5c1 is 5, and then 2 to the power 4 is 16, and then ax to the power 1 is still ax. And then the next term, 5c2 is 10, and then 2 to the power 3 is 8. And then here, ax bracket square. So it gives you a square x square. Remember, it's a square. Or don't miss this square. And now we can further simplify this. You have something like this. Or the first term is 32. The second term is 88x, and then the last term, the third term, will be 80 square x square. And now we can multiply the bracket to the front all together. Or the black 1 multiply all these three terms will give you just the same because it's 1. All right, and then the positive bx multiply these three terms will give you these three terms. All right, and followed by many other things. So I will use dot dot dot. And now we need to group the like terms. So I will rearrange the position like this. All right, x to the power 1, x to the power 1, these two terms, all right, write together. And then x to the power 2, x to the power 2, these two terms, write together, and followed by the x to the power 3 last term, and then plus dot dot dot. And now we can use factorization to group these two terms and also those two terms. So now we will have this 32, the constant term, and then plus bracket 80a plus 32b times x to the power 1, and then bracket 80a square plus 80ab bracket times x to the power 2, and then followed by the last one with x to the power 3, which is useless here. And this is the expansion. Good. So after the expansion, what should we do? All right, we can compare the coefficient. The first one, the constant term is the same, so useless. But then for x, coefficient of x should be 112. So here, coefficient of x, 80a plus 32b should be equal to 112. So we will have one equation. And then divide all the thing by 16, we will have 5a plus 2b is equal to 7. Right? So here we have one equation with two unknowns. So obviously we need to have one more equation to help us to solve it. But here we can also do some change of subject thing first. And then so 2b will be 7 minus 5a, and then b should be 7 minus 5a divided by 2. We can use it later. And then next, we can compare the coefficient of x squared. So for x squared, coefficient should be negative 240. And then here, the coefficient of x squared should be 80a squared plus 80ab. So here, compare these two, all right? And then next, we can divide it all by 80 first. All right, so we can have a squared plus ab is equal to negative 3. Now we can make use of this change of subject. B is equal to 7 minus 5a over 2. So substitute it in, we can have this. And then multiply all the terms by 2, we can have this. 2a squared plus a times bracket 7 minus 5a is equal to negative 6. And then simplify this, you will have a quadratic equation like this. Negative 3a squared plus 7a plus 6 will be equal to 0. So for a quadratic equation, we can make use of the quadratic formula, or anything you can do, use factorization or whatever. So here I just use quadratic formula. I will have a negative b plus or minus b squared minus 4ac, or the square root, and then divided by 2 times a. And finally, I got two values of a. Here, a can be negative 2 over 3, or a can be 3. But remember, the questions mentioned that a and b are integers. So here, we need to reject the fraction, because it's not an integer, negative 2 over 3. Right? And don't forget that it's just the value of a here. We also need to find the value of b. So substitute the a is equal to 3 into this, and we can find the value of b, which is negative 4. And that's it for question number 4. Thank you.